Welcome back to MvM Live on our Wednesday stream. I'd like to welcome you. You've got myself, Ryan, Kira from MvM, and we have a special guest today, Julie Ahern from Greenbrier Games. Julie, you were a developer on the game that we're playing today.
Yes.
In fact, you do a lot of development for Greenbrier Games.
I do. I do the lion's share of development for the games and some of the design. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's true. Yeah, we did one I'm going to say Tales of Barbaria. I don't want to say Barbaria is what I keep trying to say.
That's okay.
Tales of Barbaria.
Yeah, there we go.
We had a lot of fun with that one in the comments. A lot of bear-related puns. And we're back today. So many. And we're back today with Lost Ones. And we figured Julie's actually local to us. So instead of having her just in the comments, we have her here. And you're actually going to join us and play today. So
I am.
That's exciting.
Thanks.
But before we get started, Kira, do you want to talk about...
So we are, as always, very thankful to our sponsor, Game Toppers, for this wonderful table that we get to play on with our beautiful playmat and all that fun stuff. And also to Julie for giving us a giveaway today. So make sure you make a comment in the comments to be entered to win. But first, Holy from last week goes to Luis Chora. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. Apparently, every week I try and challenge myself with a new name to mess up. But you know what to do. Email us at manvsmeeple@gmail.com to claim.
Yeah. So we're going to go into Lost Ones. Julie's going to kind of talk about the game as we play it and kind of what the goal is, how to play, and what I want to know is who did the art for this game, because this is quite phenomenal looking.
Matt.
Should I show something?
You can.
I'm going to forget his last name.
Look at that.
Every time when I put on the spot. Not on the spot.
Matt somebody.
Matt, who's amazing.
But
Matt, who is amazing.
It's very good.
Whose name I'm going to shout out in the middle of our gameplay and scare everybody.
That's fun.
Did the art. He did Of Dreams and Shadows, which was also Gordon's first game, and also in the same world, but totally different style of gameplay. But since it was in the same universe, we absolutely were going to use him for this game as well.
And so we've already kind of done a little bit of setup. At least we've chosen our characters. Did you choose your character?
I did.
I just showed it on screen.
Oh, that's you.
Yes.
You want me to show yours?
I'm Fenrir. This guy's awesome looking.
He reminds me, what was that movie where he was like Jack Frost? And the animated one?
He does kind of look like
Jack Frost?
The Rise of the Guardians.
That's what it was.
Oh,
that movie's so good.
I haven't gotten that one yet, but yes.
Oh, it's such a great movie.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of... He looks a little angrier and a little more serious than Jack Frost.
He's absolutely the serious one of the group.
So do I have to be serious? Because that would be bad.
Well, you did say you wanted the Kylo Ren character.
I do. He has like the scar almost going on, and he looks very angry.
So he comes from So these characters are from the Four Kingdoms. We have 3 of the 4 characters. And so each one of them is from one of the 4 kingdoms and have been pulled into this world. So Fenrir is from the north, somewhat Germany feel to it, so somewhere higher mountainous, and is a hunter from a family who's mostly hunters and warriors. So
I like it.
He's the one that is predisposed to do a lot of that. And then I had Dominica, and you have Maeve, and each one have their own abilities that will hopefully come in handy.
Yes, hopefully.
We hope. And they have been sucked into the other world. So we have, the regular world where the 4 kingdoms is, and then we have this magical world that kind of lies superimposed. And in Of Dreams and Shadows, those magical creatures were trying to invade the 4 kingdoms, and you could play a hero. In this game, you're not a hero, you're a kid. And you went to sleep, and you woke up, and you find yourself in Otherworld. And like kids who probably are very nervous, but also have no real understanding of danger and consequences, you're also excited to explore.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing. So we start here on this first tile, and we are going to try to have an adventure.
All right, before we get started, I want to address one of the questions. Tristan, you bring up a good point. You've probably never heard of this one because it's brand new. It's actually on Kickstarter right now, which we did not mention that. But you can actually follow the link to the Kickstarter campaign if the game looks interesting or seems up your alley.
So it right now.
That's probably... I don't know if we're the first live play of the game, but we're definitely among the first, so it'll be a lot of fun.
I mean, we're the cool
kids.
We
did spread out we didn't do a lot of live plays for this one, which is a little tricky because the whole point of the game is exploring and unlocking the secrets of the game as you go. So if you do too many of them, there's a lot of spoilers. So it's been a very strange campaign for that purpose.
Well, we're not going to go too heavy into spoilers here. I mean, there'll be a little bit of spoilers, right, for the beginning of the game.
We'll say spoiler if there's a spoiler.
It's okay. Will. It's totally okay if there are spoilers. I just didn't want a lot of live plays so that everybody could be like, oh, well, I already know the whole map.
Right. Chapter 1 through,
Right.
And like, well, can you hold up that storybook? Because, I mean, that thing is, like,
this is our storybook, and it has lots of content. So,
that's great.
We're going to go through some of it.
All right.
But not all of it.
All right.
So there's also an adventure guide.
Yes, so the adventure guide is it has the rules at the front, and then as we get into it, you'll see you can make decisions, and the results of the decisions are in the back here, so that because it is a 1 to 4 player game, we tried a lot of different things because we realized you were giving spoilers to yourself as a solo player, because you would read, and then you would out of the corner of your eye see what the results were,
hard not
and
to do that.
Right. So we did it separately and actually. This is a shrunken down version of the size. It is actually going to be an 8 by 11 book, so
you don't have to get out a magnifying glass.
It's right.
Yep. Well, I do appreciate print play games for making our prototype, but that was something that we needed to do on the fly to make sure it fit.
Yeah.
So Ryan and I think Jeremy and David too, we all really like the adventure games and finding those stories. I really like how you made it so that a solo player can enjoy it more.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. So let's dive into it.
Yeah, you want to start and take the first turn, talk about what we're doing, how we're doing it, turn-to-turn structure.
Absolutely.
We can kind of teach it as we play it.
Okay. So give a quick things of the pertinent information as we start and then continue as we go along. Absolutely. So, like I said, we are 3 individuals who didn't know each other before this very moment that were kidnapped and taken to the other world. In the game, we are going to go from tile to tile.
It's all green.
Oh, green
It's all
screen,
green.
It's
and
all
a lot of
green.
it's going to be green.
It's
okay. It's a magical fairy tale land. Of course, it's all green, and twinkly and sparkly. So, in the game, we're going to try to explore. The object of the game is to try to find a way home.
Okay.
There are multiple ways out, but there's also multiple ways to lose. So. Let's take a look at turn order. So on each of our turns, we'll get to have up to 3 actions. You must do at least one.
Okay.
And those will involve moving. So each additional tile that we put out is 1 movement. When you get to a new location, you would stop. You would read the introduction to it in the storybook. Or if there's any status effects, you would resolve that first and then read the introduction. So that's the first thing you can do. The second is in the storybook. And I guess we can put that out really quick so you can see it. You'll see that a lot of times the introduction is the flavor text. That's what you find there. And of course that's tile 1. So there's a lot of text there. But at the bottom, you can see that there's story choices, encounters that you can resolve or not, depending on what you have in your hand. So you'll see it'll ask you, do you want to do something like explore the area? And there's a cost. The cost is from our hands, we would have to, on your turn, spend that. So,
one of these cards.
Correct.
Yeah,
and these ability cards so we're kids, so these ability cards aren't like warrior fighting abilities. These are our personal. So observing, a show of force of some kind, but not really necessarily attack. Dexterity, which might be running away, it might be dodging and hiding. Something to that effect is then you have the puzzle pieces, which is trying to figure something out using logic. And then finally the little speech bubbles, so having a conversation or trying to communicate. Yeah. So you're going to be using those to resolve these, and that would take 1 action as well. You can also use your character's special ability as an action. So for example, I have Dominica, and once per story action, I can change one of my ability icons into either a speech or a puzzle. So I have this runaway, but I really need to talk to something. I could switch it out, and that's her ability.
So she's pretty good at
She's chatty.
talking. She's very chatty.
So I picked her.
That's
so
fine.
weird.
It works.
And then later on, same kind of thing with our boon deck. If we get cards that give us special abilities, you could use those as an action and tap them and use theirs. So those are our pool of actions of things, and we'll each get to do 3. And that can rotate, and it's a cooperative game, so after everybody takes 3 actions, we could keep going in the same rotation just because it's easier to keep track of. Or we can say, you know what, it makes more sense for you to go first this turn, and you can completely do that. Which anybody who's played an RPG before,
Right.
you know, that works. You can forego initiative.
And you can, but you have to take all 3 of your actions in a row,
You
right?
must, right.
So I
You have
can't
to
take
do-
one, then one, then one, right?
Yes. You'll have to do as many as you want to do in one turn, which is important because sometimes, so I need that speech, but I can't because it's not my turn. So you could say, well, I'm just going to do one action and let you do your turn.
Right.
But I can't go back. Then you don't get to come
Right.
back and
I
finish.
basically lose those other 2 actions.
Right. That's absolutely true. So we're going to do that to explore the board. When we do, we're going to be able to do some stuff here. But it's going to cost us our abilities. And our abilities are not something we get to just redraw. We have to find a location that allows us, or
To get
an
them back.
encounter, to get them back. So one of the ways you can lose is to deplete all of your cards.
No.
The cards, your hand scales, so we're in a 3-player game, so we each got 5 cards. In a 4-player game, it would be 4 cards. In a solo game, it's 7 cards. So your hand limit changes depending on the number of players.
So if we ever have 0 cards in our hand.
If you have 0 cards,
If
and that's
one
the
person-
other reason why you must do at least one action on your turn, the game is lost.
Oh no. Oh, if even one person runs out of cards.
Correct. If anybody is unable to escape this world, this other world, this dream world,
Trapped
the game is
forever.
lost. We're trapped.
I do want to stop and address one of the comments as you're talking about the game and the setup. People are commenting on how little there is to set up in the game, and that's a very positive thing. Some of these exploration dungeon crawl style games have ridiculous setup times, but as you can see, it's just putting out a couple decks of cards and you're good to go, really.
Right. We make a lot of different styles of games, and I'm a big fan of all the little bits and pieces as well. But this game was specifically exciting to us because it has a lower threshold to invite more people to learn how to play this style of game.
Yeah, I think you've got Folklore with Greenbrier Games,
We
which
do.
for people that like the big dungeon crawl with
All
lots
the
of
bits and
pieces, and then you've
pieces,
got
right.
the small one that you can play maybe with some of your more casual friends. I think that's a good idea to branch out a little bit like that. So
Or maybe you just don't want to have to get the whole box out today.
yeah, exactly.
You can switch between the two because they're both amazing games. So let's play.
Okay, let's
you
play.
want to take the first turn and get us started?
Okay, so reading the introduction. Alone in the dark, you dwell on the night you were taken from your home. The ones that came for you looked normal at first, until they turned into something else. Why did they take you captive, and how long ago was that? You can tell that you're being moved somewhere, but the swaying motion abruptly stops. Reaching out, you touch the cold bars of the cage. The long silence is suddenly broken by shouts and screams. You hear a deafening roar before you feel the world around you spin violently. Your eyes slowly open, and you see the broken bars of your cage within the remnants of a wagon. You crawl through the opening and see the aftermath of a battle. Other wagons with prisoners' cages are overturned and burning. Atop a hill are the charred remains of an enormous tree that has been split down the middle as if struck by lightning. The surrounding area has an ethereal look that is very different than your home. You're lost somewhere in a foreign land.
Wow.
So that's where we are.
What a happy place this seems
So
to be.
fun, so exciting. And I can, for my first action, I could choose to just take off in a direction. And if you're looking at the tile, up is north. So I could go north and put down tile 2. West is tile 8. South is 6. East is 4. Or I could spend 1 observation and explore the area, or I could expend 1 puzzle and investigate the wagon.
Ooh.
Now, I have I know the answers to I actually don't know all the answers as you spiral out as many times as I play this, but up close in front, I know what's going on, but you don't. So
Ryan and I
think
should pick.
Let's.
Yeah.
For you.
There could be food in the wagon.
there could be food in the wagon.
I'm a
with
hunter,
Brian.
so I'm like always got food on my brain. I'm like, we got to get some provisions.
Provisions.
If we're in a lost place, I don't know you guys, because we just met.
Well,
But
so here's...
we're all kids, and kids make friends really fast, right?
That's true. And especially when you're kind of just stuck in a foreign
Right.
area, thrown together. I feel like, yeah, it's just like camp.
It's
Just like camp.
just like camp. A
Um,
fairy camp.
So I have my cards. I have Outmaneuver, which is some dodging.
Oh, there could be
I have
Oreos
War
in
and
the wagon.
Peace, which is either fist or talk. I have Prepare for Anything, which is a wild card.
I also
where
have
can
one
use
of those
anything.
as well.
Nice. So, and
Hi, Chris. Kira's
And-
husband, Chris, is in the chat right now.
Hi, Chris.
Thanks for watching.
And then I have Hero's Heart, which is 2 fists. So I do not have an eyeball or a puzzle. I mean, I could immediately use my ability and turn one of these cards. But here's the thing: it's a cooperative game.
Ah.
We're all in the same
Space?
space, so we can share our
Ooh.
resources. So if somebody was willing to loan me a puzzle piece,
I could loan you an... Oh,
can
I
do
just have an
that.
eye. Oh, I do have a puzzle
Investigate.
piece.
So scavenge would be the puzzle piece. So what we would do is cool. So you're willing to
I'm
share?
willing
with
to share this with you.
me? So
Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. You're going to put that in your discard pile.
Okay.
And your discard pile stays separate from everybody else's.
Now, I do have a question. If I was to play something like My Decipher that also draws an ability card, would I draw
Yeah,
the ability
can we-
card,
can
or
we
would
show
you?
that?
Yeah.
So,
I wasn't sure who would get the ability
That's important.
card.
So yours might be the better one to use.
Oh.
Because if you discard yours, you get to redraw to
Yes.
your hand, and that means
Let's
that
do it.
collectively we haven't wasted any cards.
Let's do it.
So we
Brian,
can do that instead.
makes more sense.
I'm going to decipher that.
All
So
right.
then I will draw.
Look
Can you
at
hand
that.
me an ability card?
Cooperative gameplay.
I can kinda reach.
Making it happen.
Ooh, Finders Keepers. I got some eyeballs.
Nice. All right, so we're going to investigate the wagon, which we're going to read Story Moment 137 on page 23.
Well, I like that it gives you the page numbers.
Well, you know, we're trying. We're not trying to make it hard to play the game.
Figure out where it is in the book.
Turns out.
Good luck.
David Waybright says this is going to turn into a Lord of the Flies any moment.
It could.
Could.
It totally could. I've seen it happen. So sorry, I lost the number. Nope, that's not it. Read page 23, 137. I switched it around.
23, right?
Yeah.
137.
Thank you. Investigating the position of the wagon that was your prison, you determined it was heading east before the battle. So whoever took you captive likely went in that direction, while those attacking them came from the north.
Ooh.
So I think we don't go north or east.
So east was the direction we were headed,
Yeah.
and north was the direction that they took
The
off in.
jerks. Okay.
So, and then we have learned nothing about south or west.
And no Oreos in the wagon.
And no Oreos.
Sorry, Michael.
we don't know. We
absolutely
haven't explored it.
No Oreos in the wagon.
We don't know because we didn't do that action.
We did.
We
We
did. That was
investigated
the
the wagon.
explore the wagon.
Oh, that is what we did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were exploring the area. That's
So
why
that
you knew the
that
north
was my
and south.
first action.
Or north and east.
I can do two more. So you're saying absolutely not east.
Right, well,
Don't think
here's a-
north is a good idea either.
Here's a great point.
Hmm.
If they're heading east, that means there is civilization to the
Yeah.
east.
Mm-hmm.
But if they spot us, that would be bad for us.
But we would be behind them, so we could hide behind a tree.
We would be behind them, but that means they're going to get there first, which means when we get there, they might be looking for us. I don't know. But we at least know there's people. I don't know about north. Those people seem kind of angry. What do you think?
Definitely not north. I don't mind east. I think east might be okay, but we were coming from
The west.
so I don't really want to go back that way.
Didn't say we were coming from the west.
No, it didn't say that. It just said we were heading east.
Oh, that's true.
But that's... I mean, we have a 1/3 shot of where it was coming from.
Do you?
We don't. We
We
disappeared right in the middle of the road.
Well, I think we were coming from the north, and then we
Let's
went
go east, Ryan. You want to go east? Let's go east.
I don't care.
You want to go towards
What do you
where our
think?
captives are?
I mean, I would imagine that there's something there at
I
least.
think I'm going to keep drinking my Coke
We
Zero
could
while
go
you guys discuss
south
Let's just go south.
because that's different, and the comments said so.
Oh, well, if the comments say south, then I say we go
Omar, we're going south.
it. Okay.
south. Let the commenters decide.
So,
Yeah, we should do that more.
south would be tile 6. Now, before I turn it, my second action is going to be to step into this tile.
Okay.
making that decision means it's a foregone conclusion. No matter what happens here, I have already committed, so I can't turn it and then be like, just kidding.
Never mind.
Right. However, at the same time, you have to choose if you're coming with me or not, because it's a free action for me to take you with me on my
let's
turn.
go.
Yeah.
But again, same thing. Once I turn it, you can't be like, you know what, I didn't want to go.
Hey, you know what?
I'd rather us all be together.
We'll risk it together, whatever it is.
Okay.
Whatever terrible thing's about to happen to us, we are all in it together.
Actually, it's not terrible at all. It looks very
Now,
lovely.
are the color codings on the numbers different? Is that...
So to take, I don't know if you're going to be able to because green screen is a little weird.
Probably not.
But we'll get
No,
that's
not at all.
good. Let me see if I can find one that
Here.
isn't here.
Look,
here's a brown one.
I got it up here.
Or that. No. Here, do this one.
Okay. Brown one.
Just so you can see it. So here you can see in the bottom right, the number of the tile is in the white circle.
Ah, okay.
And for the record, the icon's going to be bigger in the actual final copy of the game. The north, south, east, west, those numbers are the numbers of the adjacent tiles that you would jump to.
Okay.
The other icons I'll show you when we get to one that has one.
Okay.
But they'll be next to the number of the tile.
So we actually don't have any icons on this tile that we're putting out. And I'm sure you match them so the numbers are touching correctly.
Right, so tile 1 is north, and so you look and that tile is tile 1.
Perfect.
And also, you can see that it starts to formulate a pretty little map. So they all fit together, so you'll know that it matches.
I like when that
That's very
happens.
exciting.
So we're all here
Mm-hmm.
on 6, and so I switched to page 6.
We
Nice.
get to know about our new location a few
Where
feet
did
ahead.
it go?
We're
So
behind.
every tile has its own entry in the book, correct?
Correct. And we made it so that each page matches the page number so that
Oh, nice.
we tried. We tried. And by we, I mean Zach. That was Zach's.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks for graphic designing, Zach.
Gator Dave is referring to this as Seventh Continent Pocket. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad.
I'm not offended by that. I want it. It is definitely in that world of Seven Continent feel,
Yeah.
the gameplay. But the idea being that it had a greater accessibility for a younger age,
Oh, for sure.
great.
and completely in Gordon's world, which is his own special place that he spends a lot of time
He's invited
hanging
us
out
in.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So, exploring the wooded area, you discover a grove of ancient trees with gnarled faces and carved into their trunks. Each has a distinctive expression from the other. One is frowning in thought, while another has an expression of sorrow, and yet another looks furious. They all seem to be staring at you with a knowing look.
Oh.
So, I can speak to the trees for one speech, or we can move on, and this would be my final action. I've got chat for days.
I was gonna say, the question is more like, could we stop you from chatting with the trees?
So I'm gonna, I'm gonna hug them and I'm gonna give them
Dominica.
names, whatever.
Do
They
what
might
you
already
do,
have
girl.
names.
Yeah, well, they might. Let's find out. So I'm gonna go to story moment 1,
Oh.
That's exciting.
and it's a long one, guys. All right.
Let's hear what the trees have to say.
Is it too small? Do
The
you want me to read
child
it?
can talk after all, says the frowning face. I know I'm going to be playing trombone. It's fine. I wasn't truly sure if humans could speak this young.
Who cares?
Yells the furious face.
They burned down our brother. Those squabbling fae, they've gone too far this time. The queens of autumn and summer will answer for this.
The frowning face glances to the north and then back to you. Luck must favor you, child. You look to be a former captive of the Fae. The Autumn Queen's servants must have taken you through our brother's gateway for some purpose. Where they were headed east to her domain when the Summer Queen's forces attacked. None of it matters, exclaims the sad face. I have seen the catastrophe in my dreams. When the new moon appears again, it will all end. Flee while you can, child. There are more like our brother who can open a gateway to your world. Seek out another Hollow's tree. That's the easy part, responds the frowning face. Our brothers are normally asleep and have not opened gateways in a long time. Well, not until recently, it seems. You'll have to find a way to stir them from their slumber. Good luck, child. The faces suddenly cease to speak to you. Their different expressions remain frozen in place.
Wow. They just can't even be nice to us, can they?
I don't know. They gave us some information.
Are we in Oz though? Because it feels a little.
We
don't
did not,
throw
they did
apples
throw
at us.
They did not throw apples. There were no apples to be had.
I had to
so.
laugh. Gator Dave asked if one of the trees had an expression saying, "Did I leave the gas on?"
Yes,
It's a good
100%.
One of the trees just
Right.
like, Well, so there's a portal. These trees make portals. I've gathered that.
They brought us here for a reason.
They did.
Maybe. Possibly.
And there was a
Or
tree
accident.
That burned down.
that burnt down on the first tile.
Very
It was
sad.
their brother tree.
Mm-hmm.
How sad.
Yeah.
So, should I go next or Ryan?
I don't know that it matters.
I think it does.
But-
It does not matter.
So east is the fairy kingdom, or like her headquarters, or whatever you want to call it, is to the east. I don't know. I'm gonna go pledge service to her.
Oh, that's
Sounds dangerous.
awful.
Oh,
I
maybe
mean,
they
that's
should.
a thing you could try to do.
I'm sure it is. I don't know that I don't know that I want to spend the rest of my life in servitude to the Fae.
No.
But maybe. They're saying that we should branch out in the comments.
Yeah. I don't know. Feeling like I just want to keep going south. Omar, where are we going?
South. Let's just go south.
Okay.
South would
We're already
be
going that way.
19.
We're putting some distance between us and the angry attackers. They freed us, but didn't take us with them, which makes me think that they weren't really concerned with freeing us.
No.
So.
They were attacked
They were
by.
attacked and they
There were
ran
two
away.
queens.
Oh, that's true.
Queen of the Autumn was the one that captured you. Queen of Summer came from the north and stopped her and then retreated.
But they didn't take us with them.
Didn't take you with
That's
them.
all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
All right,
So are you guys going with me is the question.
I'm
yeah.
going with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with.
So everybody's coming with me.
I've decided to. Maybe I'll scout ahead at some point, but right now.
Ooh,
it's
there's a
good.
river.
There is a river.
Maybe more provision opportunities.
Can I go fishing? Let me whip up a little stick and.
I appreciate that you're staying true to your character.
Whip up
I
a
appreciate-
little stick, he says.
Yeah.
Whip
Sharpen
one
it-
up.
Sharpen it.
Sharpen a stick and just kind of do like one of these.
Yeah.
All right. Traveling alongside a winding river, you see it finally end at a waterfall that is frozen over, forming a sheer wall of ice. You get the sense that you stand at the boundary between the seasons of winter and spring. We can explore the area, but that would cost 2 eyeballs, or we can continue on. We cannot, however, continue south, and if you look at the book, it'll show you
Oh, yeah.
that-
Very cool.
which directions you can go, and see there's nothing to the south because there is a waterfall of sheer ice, and you can't travel over that without killing yourself, and
That would be bad.
Is this
That
like
would be
Inception though, where jumping off
So-
wakes me up from my dream?
So we're
I'm not
away
gonna risk
from the
it.
two jerk queens at this point.
Kind of. We're far
we're
from the
on
one
the-
to the north, but the one to the east, who knows how far east it is?
Just saying, she just said we're on the edge of spring and winter.
correct.
Summer and autumn are the jerk queens.
correct.
Well, they could all be jerk queens. We
They
don't
might
know
be,
that
But
necessarily.
we don't know. Maybe there'll be a Glinda type queen who's nice to us.
So you've
Helps
used one
us-
action.
Helps us along the way.
Do we really want to spend the 2 eyeballs here? Do you think we're going to get any information that we don't already have?
Well, it's exploring, and like you said,
It's
we're
really too. I
lost.
have my one wild, so I could offer
I-
that if you want to, but otherwise I don't really have.
I have a 2 eyeball card, so we could do with 1 card. I just don't know what it's going to give us that we don't already have.
So
Well, you
whenever
won't know that.
Exactly.
won't
Whenever
know
I
because you
complete a
haven't
story
played yet.
action with an eye cost, I get to draw another ability card, but I don't know that that matters right
Well,
now.
it does matter because it means that you could play. So if you were to play this one and draw a card
Or you get to draw another one and another one.
and another one, so you could do this and then replenish your hand. So for you playing this isn't.
No, it
Again,
doesn't
isn't
hurt us
gonna-
at all.
Right.
Okay, let's do it.
So you're going to get to draw 2 cards to replace... Actually, you would draw 3 cards?
2.
Oh, no, because not each card you play, only when you do the event.
This one
Correct.
let me, so for
Yeah.
everybody to see, this one let me draw an ability.
Yeah.
And then I always take these off too fast, so I'm doing my best not to be. So that was my 2 eyes, but then Maeve at the bottom says the other thing I said.
Yeah, if you play an eye...
But that is another action.
Yep,
So you moved was your first action,
explored.
and then exploring and this. So that's all 3 of your actions. But
But we're going to
Something
explore.
happens.
so
What'd I get?
Page
page 15,
15.
Nice.
30, 35.
35.
I forgot my glasses.
She forgot her glass. I don't know if you heard that whisper. It's okay. It's not like it's small print or anything.
I told you on these cards, on the faux deck, and this book
It'll all be bigger.
are all going to be bigger. Everything else is fine.
This is just the prototype.
Right? But this is also why we tested it to make sure.
Is this the final size of this adventure book?
Yes.
I like that. I like the size of this book.
It's a
For those
pocket
who,
book.
it's
Yeah.
it's a pocket book.
Why don't you put it out there till she needs it? Because
Yeah,
then
that's
people
fine.
can see it.
Peering over the edge of the waterfall, you see a peculiar stone bridge at the bottom. It is spanning across a frozen river that continues south through a deep gorge. Beyond it is a vast landscape filled with ice and snow. West of you is a small pond surrounded by fresh greenery. A forest path to the east heads into a dusky red forest.
Nope, that doesn't sound good at all.
So, red forest. There's a bridge down here with
Or we
and
can't.
Winter Wonderland, and a pond.
Winter
Right, we can't get
Wonderland.
down there. We have to find a way down. So,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Well, that was 3 actions, Kira.
Yeah, that was my 3.
All right, so I
So you're
guess
up.
that's it. I'm going west.
All right.
I want to. Yeah, I don't want to
So
go into
Wes
that
is
weird
20.
red forest.
Are we headed with him?
I like that.
I'm headed with
For
it.
those
yeah.
who you can kind of see here, you see the way that the artwork comes together. Like you can see the hint of that red forest, which is kind of cool. So even before you really know, you kind of have some idea of what's going to be over there.
But you wanted to go west.
I
not
did. I
east.
don't want to go to the red forest.
Okay,
It
just
sounds
making
dangerous. Is anybody coming with me?
Yeah, we all agreed, and
We're
so
coming along.
we're
Ooh.
here, and
That's pretty.
That is a really pretty looking pond.
it is, and it has a
Something in it.
something in it.
That's,
I can't tell what it
that's
is though.
interesting. I'm going to do one of these for everybody really quick.
It's gonna it's gonna vanish.
You arrive at a large swimming hole filled with azure blue water. Small winged fae are playing in it, including a water spirit in the form of a woman. So we can speak with the water spirit for 2 talks, or we can keep on going.
Well, I'd like to speak to the water woman, but I only have 1 talk. So
I mean, I have a talk.
do we think it's worth spending 2 cards to talk to the water woman?
Mm.
I mean, we have no information at this point.
I mean, I can add another talk and replace my
Oh,
card
then let's
again.
do that. And
Okay.
I will use my wild, right? It's probably best to use my wild? Or do you want to use a special one?
No, I
'Cause
mean,
you're down to 4 cards, so I don't want to...
Okay.
And are there ways to draw more cards other than the cards
Well,
that let you draw more
Cards
cards?
themselves, some
Mhm.
of the events,
Gotcha.
and then if we find a resting spot, anybody
Oh.
on that space can redraw up to their hand limit.
Oh, let's find that rest.
But we also advance the moon clock. And if we stay too long in this world, meaning every time we advance the moon clock,
We don't want to do that.
it's bad things
All
happen.
right. So we spent
try
2.
and show
Here,
this.
did you buy your
I
extra?
did.
All right, so
Yeah, again, let it go.
we're going to speak to the water spirit.
Yeah.
We're going to get chatty.
There's a lot of green on some of these components.
There are.
It's because it's a Fey world.
We
It
do
is
have
a
a we
favor.
do have a blue-green screen or a blue screen as well, but there's also a lot of blue on these cards.
Those
so
are the
it's-
primary colors of
it's-
this game, yes. Eh.
You know, it happens.
The water spirit gives you a curious look before welcoming you. She knows that you come from the waking world and offers you some advice. She says, "A monument of an old god rests in a lagoon by the sea. It is far to the northwest of here. Travel there and seek its blessing to swim like a fish."
Ooh, I like that.
The spirit then tells you to beware of kelpies. They are the unseelie fae, and they look like horses by the water. With a wave, she dives beneath the surface and disappears.
I mean, that sounds kind of cool to me. Being able to swim like a fish.
You haven't read your Celtic mythology then, have you?
I mean, it just depends. If they just let me swim like a fish, or if they're going to turn me into a half fish.
But then there's probably all
You
You
kinds of
haven't
new,
read your Celtic mythology,
all
have
kinds
you?
of new
haven't.
water danger. I don't think you want to be a fish, personally.
That's not what it does.
I don't know what it does. Mutates me, gives me weird gills and flippers, and turns me into some weird, like, the shape of water type creature. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
Ryan, what would you like to do?
Well, that was 2 actions.
yeah.
So we know where they are. They're to the northwest, and there are the kelpies somewhere along the shore. And we probably want to avoid them then.
Somebody said, just joined. Does this have a 7th continent vibe? So,
We've been kind
Yes.
of talking about that a little bit.
Sure does.
So if we go south here, we could potentially go down into the Winter Wonderland, find a path down.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go to the Winter Wonderland, people, or do we want to just keep heading? Summer is...
I don't know, man. It's cold outside. I don't like cold.
Okay, let's just keep heading west then.
Okay.
I've got one more action, so...
All right, so 21 would be west.
Got it.
Oh, you actually, if you want to, and then
Oh,
I'll...
yeah, you can find the right page while I'm looking for the right one.
Oh, that's right.
Ooh, this is cool. There's like a little well.
There is a little well,
A little well.
and we are going to it, and
We are going together.
we're all going together, and as you can see, we finally have one that has a little red icon next
Yep,
to
I
it.
see that down there in the bottom.
So, spoilers, little red icons are never good.
Oh, yay.
This one happens to have mushrooms on it, and that means it is a fairy circle. And if anybody's ever read any sort of fairy tales, you know, you get into a fairy circle and time moves differently. You might be sucked into the under the hill is usually what it's referred to in fairy tales. Of course, we have Otherworld, and we're already there. So instead, we kind of just enter this particular area, and time moves a little bit differently, which means we advance the moon clock one space. And if you look on here, there's an icon of a raven, and that is representative of the nightmare. If you want to show
Oh
everybody
no,
the nightmare.
that doesn't sound good at all.
Nightmare is not good.
Which I did anticipate
Oh.
the nightmare. Whoops.
Oh,
Glary.
Little glary.
There we go.
Yeah, that's terrifying
So-
looking.
Super terrifying.
So no, he doesn't go there. Oh goodness, no, we don't want him there.
I was
He
very
comes
scared.
out of the tree.
Somebody says don't eat the mushrooms. Yeah, I'm
Don't
not
eat
going
the
to eat the
mushrooms,
mushrooms.
So the nightmare is now on the board. Anytime the nightmare is referred to, they will travel
Towards us.
towards us. If at any point the nightmare is on the same tile as any one character, they are now trapped in the nightmare and the game is lost.
Wow.
So, Julie, you keep referring to certain mythologies. Is it required to know fairy tale and
No,
Celtic
it's not,
mythologies
but
and-
you'll learn a lot about them if you
Yes.
play this game. So Celtic mythology is involved. We have some Slavic mythology, some Native American mythology in here, and so and using the archetypes of them. So having grown up, last name's Ahern, so having grown up, the Celtic mythology is something that's very familiar. So I do get an extra bonus of knowing how those characters behave in stories and whether they're more trustworthy or less trustworthy, or what the outcome of most of those fairy tales are.
Probably not good usually.
Right? Well, yeah. Well, yes. And Celtic mythology is never really good. You never get.
Not a lot of good
There's
stuff there.
it's usually death and destruction.
Most of what I know from the Fae came from Strange and Norrell, Doctor Strange and Professor or whatever that book was.
Yes.
Yeah, which is a great book.
Mr. Norrell.
Mr. Norrell, yeah, which is great, but they're all bad. All the fairies are like bad in that. So
They took the trope and played with it, which is
Jonathan Strange, that's what it was, right?
Mhm.
Not Doctor Strange. That's a different thing entirely.
that's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You were kind of like doing some sort of
We're all over the
Fairy
place.
tale.
It's
So,
a great book, though.
so something's happening here. That's the important
Well, the Nightmare came out.
Nightmare.
The nightmare came out. Yeah, we hadn't resolved it. So that's what happens when there is an icon. You resolve the moon clock, and because the moon clock and of course, as you see, as we advance, the raven gets to move more frequently. And then if we advance it too many times, regardless of if the nightmare's there or not, we'll have stayed too long and we're trapped.
And you always
Since
do the
this
icons
didn't
first.
show well on the green screen, I'll just tell you guys there's 1 here, 2, and then 3, so it's going to be progressively worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yep, that happened. And now that we're here, though, we are reaching a clearing in the green woods. You discover large mushrooms arranged in a circle around a well. So we can fetch water from the well. It would take us 1 fist, and it's back to my
Yeah,
turn.
it is, because I am done.
Okay.
Do we trust well water from the fairies?
I do. I'm thirsty.
Loopy says the fairies are always trustworthy.
Always. I mean, you can trust them to be themselves.
Says, I only trust old women in candy houses. Well,
I live in a candy house. That's great. Come on over.
yeah, but you're a young
Anytime.
woman living in a
Lots
candy
of
house.
good
That's a
candy.
different thing.
All right.
All right. We'll go with that. Sure. The lady who forgot her glasses and is having trouble reading.
All right. What is that?
Les,
60 and 17.
thank you.
Did you have the card you needed for that? You did, right?
She did.
I did. Yep. Turning the wooden crank by the well, you retrieve a bucket full of clear water. You risk a sip, and the water tastes fresh and sweet.
Ooh.
Select
That's a
and
surprise.
return an ability card from the discard pile back into my hand.
Oh, look
Ooh,
at that.
fancy.
Can we all
I
drink
got
from the
it.
well?
Unfortunately, no. Thank you for the reminder, though, because you know what we haven't been doing?
What?
We haven't been marking when we've done actions.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't know we,
we
needed
did one
to.
there, we did them in there. Well, mostly just to
So
keep
you don't
track.
go back and do them again.
Correct.
I mean, we've basically been progressing forward. We haven't been going backwards, so
But it is important.
it is good to know
Tracking
that
is good.
to track that. Alright.
So, that was my
First action. Because
First
I found the tile, you drank.
I drank from the well. Yep. So we have now kind of committed to going west.
Yeah, well, we could go northwest towards the ocean, but you didn't seem too happy about the premise of being turned into a fish.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I think we'll just keep going west. So here's the fun part. Because you kind of explore and go all different ways, I obviously have played this, I don't know, well over 50 times at this point. So I know generally what's in this area, but not exactly where.
Ooh.
Quick question for you, Julie.
Yeah.
They're saying, so are the ones to mark that we took the one action out of two possible actions, or how do you determine that?
So I do think we're actually going to have we're going to have to figure that out because there's either one or two, or you've done both.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think we're going to have to make some of them either one, two, or all. So that you
I
can
see.
specify
Yeah.
the first, the second.
Because I know we have
Or
some
all.
ones and some
Because we
twos.
had 2 on the first tile.
Right.
But we've only had 1.
So what I
since,
think
right?
we're going to end up doing, because it's right now it's double-sided 1 and 2. So I think what we'll do is we'll do 1, because there's almost always a 1.
Mm-hmm.
There's most of the time, but not as frequently, a 2. And so I think what we'll end up doing is making the double-sided tiles, it's either 1 or 2 on the other side, or 1 or all
Yeah,
on the other
makes
side.
sense.
So that you
I
can
like
keep
that.
track of that more easily. And that was something that one of our Kickstarter backers suggested recently, which I appreciate. So that was a yay the collective brain on that one.
Great. I like it.
So here we are, and we're going to keep going west. So tile 44, right? It would be
Yep,
somewhere.
44. Just reading the comments are saying if we head south, maybe we'll find the MvM logo.
There you go.
44.
Yeah.
Because
When we're all going?
on the screen it's in
over
the
there.
south.
Okay. So this is got another red on it, so
Uh-oh.
that's not good for us.
Yeah.
And you can see a little bit of snow on the bottom. Are we all going with?
Yeah, we already.
We are. We are.
We're going with. I think it's
I
better
think
to
we're
just stay
always going
together
to stay
for this.
together.
All right, so the cross swords on this symbol matches the cross
Uh-oh.
swords here on the foe deck. So we've met up with a foe.
Good,
So
that's
no.
fighting is my best thing.
Fighting is your best thing.
Thank goodness it's not Ryan's turn.
Well, I think fighting we're probably all gonna have to fight.
Sure,
but I don't.
I'm just being silly.
So we shuffle the deck and
Ooh.
we
Ooh.
encounter the dire.
That looks terrible.
Love that guy. He's great. So good.
All right, so it says 2 fists or 2 feet to defeat. Attach a Bane card to each player on this map tile.
Okay, so
If we don't beat him, or anyway.
either way.
Oh,
So I have 2 feet, but if somebody else is willing to spend the actually, I could do this.
I can just give a foot for free.
I
That's
have
my
a- I have a
special
two
ability.
No,
feet
it's
as
not
well.
for free. It's
That's an action.
it's
isn't
an
it?
action.
So-
and whose turn is it?
It's
Is
your
it
turn.
Hold up.
It's my turn.
Hold up. I've got this.
Right.
2 feet discard to cancel the effect in the battle map. You
Yeah.
have the same thing.
And I have the same thing. So between the two of us, if we both spend them, one of us is doing the spending it for the defeating it, and one of them is spending it to discard the effect of getting a Bane.
Let's do it.
Which all 3 of us getting a Bane is awful.
Well, then let's do it. Let's
It's
get rid of that
awful.
bane.
But just to give you a sense of what that might look like, no, that's the here, just to show them.
This is a Bane.
Oh,
This
that
is
looks
Madness.
fun.
Yeah, no.
Madness says randomly discard 1 ability card from your hand whenever this character receives a Bane card, including from this card.
So it's an ongoing until you can get rid of it. So preventing that with 1 card
Is good.
is good. So I'm going to shuffle these so that I
So
don't know
I've
where
done
things
that.
are. And I'm
Well,
going to do mine.
While you're doing that, Marcel, to answer your question, so if you missed it in the beginning, each one of these tiles is linked to a specific entry in the book, and it kind of tells you what happens in that tile. So if you come back to the game again and go to the same tile, you will kind of know. But there are this game is huge, and there are a ton of different directions you can play in. So, I would say you're going to be learning from previous games and maybe avoiding certain tiles, but I think that's kind of part of the experience. If I'm not wrong, like maybe we don't go north this time because we went north last time and it was a really bad experience. So,
agreed.
Yeah.
But yes, that is the most frequently asked question: is what is the replayability of this game? Having played it over 50 times, I can tell you that there are still areas I'm not completely sure where everything is, and I haven't beat it at every tree, like every way out yet. At 50 gameplays, for the record. And we have our first expansion in the Kickstarter as well.
Oh, nice.
So,
content.
8 more planned.
Wow, okay.
Wow, that's a lot of content.
Well, yeah, we had a lot of...
It's lots to develop, too.
We had a lot of thoughts
you're
about what
involved.
to do. Right. Between Gordon and I, we're both writers, and so it's his sandbox, but he's let me play in it.
Oh.
And so...
That means we're all going to have a lot of fun, folks.
So don't worry, there's plenty. I promise. Before we start a new base map, we have 9 expansions of like additional things that will change out this map.
Super cool.
Alright, so that.
So that happened first. We had a guy. We beat him.
We had a guy, and we're now on tile 44. And we defeated the dire beast. And we're at the edge of the swamps. Standing at the edge of the swampland, you notice a giant hollow log with pink mushrooms growing on a rotting trunk. Beside it in the murky swamp water is emptying into a pristine lake. To the south, there's a light snow falling on the ground. So we could forage for berries here with 2 eyeballs, or we could move along. So and I did this one, and then this, so I have one more action.
So...
Well, we haven't done it yet.
Oh, yeah. Right. I'm putting it nearby, because here's the thing. I don't have any eyeballs. You have a while.
I have a double eyeball.
Ryan has a double eyeball, so that makes sense.
Eyeball. If we really wanted to eat the berries, but we haven't eaten in a while.
You're the forager. He really wants to do it. You know he does.
He does. This one allows me to add another of the same type, but it doesn't look like we're in a position for that right now, so we'll hold on to that.
All right.
Now, question, Julie, about what you just mentioned from the comments. You mentioned 8 expansions.
Yes.
How much of that is going to be available as part of the Kickstarter?
The first one.
Just the first one, okay.
The first one. We have them planned. I wouldn't put it in the Kickstarter because while we've outlined them, we haven't finished developing them or play testing them, and that would push back delivery.
And you don't want to overpromise in a Kickstarter either.
Correct.
Like 8 expansions.
The first expansion, I can tell you that the art is already, the rough drafts have been signed, for the new map tiles has been sketched, approved, and the final ones are being created. I have gotten to play test them so that I know rough draft wise how it's going to work, and I just need to do the cleanup, which I need to do for some of the balance of some of the edge stuff on the actual map anyway, still before it's done. So that can all be completed within a month of the Kickstarter finishing. The other 8 I will be doing in bulk once we've completed them.
Sure.
And then start working on them. But that will be months.
That makes sense.
So...
But it gives you enough time to get to the base in the first expansion before more comes out.
100%, yeah.
Super great.
I actually I'm not just saying this because you're here. I kind of hate when I love the Kickstarters that give you so much stuff, but then I get so much stuff and I can't
play through all of it.
Right. I still haven't even played through all of Chain Garden. Out.
We've done both, and I understand that a Kickstarter, that is the nature of Kickstarter now, and this isn't as traditional. A lot of our Kickstarter things that we're doing have been art related or adding to the core game. So for example, one that I haven't announced, but I could announce here first.
Oh, ooh, I like that.
That we're looking at is upgrading the thing that's, so right now, what I think the most important thing, so more expansion, sure. I actually think that the insert is a much better thing, because these tiles, being able to have them organized and have the different wells so that you can get to them access more easily and stuff like that. So that is our next upgrade that I would like to be able to do
Me
as
too.
a
Custom inserts are the best.
yes.
They
as
make or break a game
right.
sometimes.
So I think maybe what we might end up doing is a social stretch goal rather than a number, because we have to hit a certain amount, and that's always subjective. So maybe we can work on a social stretch goal for that to make sure that gets achieved.
Well, and as well, so we're 45 minutes into playing, and we've uncovered 8 tiles.
We're really
so
maybe like 20 minutes.
Well,
of playing,
still,
'cause we've
but-
been chit chatting a lot.
But but the point that I'm trying to make is this is a multi-play experience. Like, you're going to play this over multiple sessions. So having like a storage option where you can just take everything you've explored, save it, that's huge. I really like that idea. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
And it seems like you'll have to review the comments later because there's some
there's a lot going on.
There's
I
a lot
keep seeing
going
it
on.
playing, yeah.
But I would before we move on real quick, Marcel asks, if you have of Dreams and Shadows, are there Easter eggs or immediate overlap?
There are Easter eggs. There's absolutely Easter eggs.
You will see it when you play it.
I'll give you one.
Oh.
If you look at the Of Dreams and Shadow box cover, which is dark, and I was like, why is this so dark when everything else is so vibrant and the art is so vibrant? And I was very weird, I was like, this was a mistake. He's like, no, I'm doing this on purpose. And I was like, but I can't sell it as well because it doesn't look as for Lost Ones, I was like, thank goodness, it looks so much more vibrant. But look at what the box art is.
For the Lost Ones or for...
No,
Of
for
Dreams and
Of
Shadows.
Dreams and Shadows.
I will after this.
You will, yeah.
Yeah, it's here.
And I literally, as I started playing this the first time, went and looked at the box and realized what it is. And I was like, what? What? So that's all. So
That's exciting.
The box art itself was an Easter egg because he had
Interesting.
this long game plan, which...
All right. Well, so
Really messed
back
with
to the
my
game.
head.
Are we eating the berries or are we passing on the berries?
We're eating berries
Okay.
because you wanted to forage.
Sure.
So you were
I'll
gonna
use my
spend it?
double eyes.
Okay. So
I'll
forage
loan
for
those to you.
berries, 93 on page 20.
I hope we don't get poisoned to death.
You forage in the area and gather a pile of edible berries. Pretty straightforward, thank you. Draw up to 3 ability cards from the deck. You may give these cards to refill any player's hand that has a character on this map tile.
Oh.
So, 1, 2, 3. I have 3 cards. How many cards do you have left?
I've been doing pretty good because of all my replacing.
you have
I have
4.
3 cards left.
Alright,
But I wouldn't mind bringing this one that lets me draw an ability card back from the discard
So
pile. I
That's
don't
a
know.
different. Oh, you want this card?
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Here, that's for you.
Because
Okay.
that actually gets us
That's
5
right.
cards,
Yeah.
technically, because it gets me the 4th one back, and then I'll get one more next time we do a Decipher.
Awesome.
So that was the end of my turn, and now it's yours, Kira. So
I'm going to address something in the comments. Somebody saying that the game price is a great deal for the base game. It's $30, but shipping's a little high for the EU. If you guys, it's hard with Kickstarter. I work on Kickstarter projects as well, so basically everything is difficult to ship to right now, especially now more than it has been in the past, and that actually is a pretty decent price compared to what I've seen for the EU, especially when you're talking about the weight of the box. So please keep that in mind, and I know that you wish it could be lower.
Oh, well, not only... I wish it could be lower. If we get it lower, we will give you the lower cost in a pledge manager. I'm not, if I can get it lower, I absolutely will give you that cost, but that's
where we're at right now.
That's where we're at.
So, all right. Well, it is my turn. I think we continue, but I would like to start going north a little bit because, I don't know, I just want to fill in this area.
I don't want to go to... Wait, which way was the swamp? We're on the edge of the swamp.
Swamp is here.
I don't want to go to the swamp.
I don't either, so that's what I'm saying.
They are rodents of unusual size there, and I don't like that.
There are ROSs?
So let's go north.
Okay.
Let's go north.
45.
I agree with you, Kira.
Ryan, you're supposed to be tile guy.
Oh, well,
Too late.
Too late. She beat me to it.
I did.
We imagine there'll be a second Kickstarter for the expansions, right?
Very likely.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Ooh,
did
that
we
looks
find
like
the...
a little castle.
There was a little castle.
It's an underwater castle.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Discovering the top of a structure poking out of the water's surface, you decide to swim over and explore the area. Looking down through the clear blue water reveals a sunken city that is resting on the bottom of the lake. So if you want to explore the sunken city, that would be 1 eyeball. If we want to use a lost relic,
Which we don't have one, right?
we don't have one. It would be 1 eyeball and 2 fists, and it would require water gills and either White Death's tooth or spyglass.
So water gills and something else?
That's exciting. We're going to find cool
So
stuff.
while we can't do that, we kind of have an indication that this is probably a really important place.
Look, I'll tell you,
where some significant things might happen.
you guys laughed at me when I said to turn me into a fish. Now that's not looking so bad.
It doesn't.
If I was a fish, I could get right in there.
fair.
Well, we
That's
can.
fair.
So we need an eyeball.
We need an eyeball.
I have no eyeballs, but I can select an ability icon on a played ability card and add another type, or I can change it on a played ability card to another type. So I could just...
Yeah, but we can't actually go into the water now anyway, because we don't have the items we need.
We can explore the sunken city with an eyeball.
And something.
Those are two different things.
Oh, nope, and water gills.
And
Oh, it
water
does say
gills.
in water gills. So we just have to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, if we follow this north, we will eventually run into the people that will turn us into fish.
So why don't we... Do we want to go back this way, or do you want to go this way? You want to keep going west?
That's up to you.
The swamp is down here. I don't see swamp up here.
I think the sea is probably to the north of us, but I don't know that for a fact.
North. Let's go north. Are you guys going with me?
Yeah.
46.
Are you going, Julie?
Yes, I will be going with you.
All right, I'll look for 46. Julie, while I'm looking for 46, they were saying in the comments, so the pricing structure, the base game is only $30.
Right, so
but-
it'll MSRP and retail for 40. So in the Kickstarter, the very base pledge is you get the core game for 30, so 25% off what it would be in retail. The next tier up is you get the game, the miniatures, the expansion, and a little sleeve that makes the base game and the miniatures all look like one box,
Oh,
so
cool.
it's easy to store a little bit easier. And that's a $60 tier, which is also 25% off what the MSRP would be. I did 25% off across the board.
I want the minis for sure.
And then the final one is the all-in pledge. The one that we have right now is also Ads of Dreams and Shadows and the Monster Within expansions and all the stuff from the Kickstarter pledge level. And that is $120 and also gives it as a discount. If we hit the art book, and we'll add a $90 tier, so it'll be all
Sure.
by 30s, and they're all 25% off.
That's awesome.
Will the
What
Nightmare
you-
have
the
a
Kickstarter.
Hopefully
miniature
that
as well?
helped everybody.
The Nightmare does not have one. If that would maybe be a stretch goal.
That would be something I would like to see.
Hasn't
It
been
might be
revealed
something
yet.
we might see. Well, here's something we haven't seen yet. On this tile, there are locks.
Oh yeah, this is a new thing.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So we have some locked areas.
Yep.
And it looks like we're not going to be able to go anywhere, but we do have a skull, a red skull as well.
That
Yeah.
also sounds, all this sounds bad. So, great.
Yeah,
Well, you know what, I pushed for, wait, we found the water though.
we did. So there are locks all the way around it, which means
We're not going to get to go anywhere.
if we can't defeat whatever's on here, game
Oh.
over.
Oh no!
But first we have to get our Bane. So,
And this
little
is-
skulls mean Bane.
This is what I was saying in my comments just a few minutes ago, is like, if we die here, the next time we play this game, we know maybe to avoid this area, but you're probably not going to remember exactly which tile it is. Now, if you write everything down, sure, that kind of, you know, but you might still stumble onto this tile on accident later and then go, oh shoot, this was bad.
Okay.
So look, if we had just gone straight west, we would have run right into this one.
Ready?
Yes.
This is your Bane.
Oh, yay.
You get horror.
I get horror.
Oh, great.
I get
Horror.
dread.
Oh.
I have to reduce my hand
You
size
get
by
madness.
Hey, madness!
I have to discard. You should have taken that other card and not given it to me.
Randomly discard one
I know.
ability card from your hand whenever you would receive a Bane card, including this card.
I get to choose, though, which is fine.
Now, do any of your cards, you play the card or you discard the card and you can get rid of Bane card?
Nope.
All right. Well, that's the thing.
So I'm going to have to randomly discard one of these cards at random. And it was not my best card, but still, I'm down to 3 cards now.
Yeah. I have add a fist to the cost of my next story action, and then I can discard this card. So whatever we do next, I have to spend
Well,
this
great.
in addition to.
So I assume I have to keep this out because it's telling me I reduced my hand size by 1.
Nope, you just reduced
I
so
did
your
it.
hand size Your hand size, yes, is 4.
Right, so I had to discard one of my cards
And then this
in order
goes
to
away.
go down to 4. Yep, cool.
So you just have to remember that you have a hand
Not
size of
cool,
4?
Correct.
but cool.
I mean, we could leave it out.
That's
but...
true. I'm leaving my madness out.
All right.
But-
Well, yours is an ongoing status effect. Hers is a
That's true.
ongoing, but it's
Right.
a permanent limit.
Yep.
And mine is a 1 and done.
All right. Well, now we have
Right.
to fight something?
So now, where are we at? What
We
number
are
is
on
this?
tile 46.
Omar says we
46.
should have listened to him and gone south a long time ago.
I
Maybe
know.
he's right.
I know.
But
Sure.
you know what? A little excitement.
Swimming along a narrow part of the lake, you suddenly see a large, dark shadow moving beneath the surface. The ghostly form of a giant white shark appears and is slowly circling you. It is called White Death.
Oh.
So remember that White Death's tooth? we
Yes.
needed,
Oh, let's
Ryan?
kill it and get the White Death's tooth.
So we can either swim to safety with 3 winged feet, or we can dive beneath the shark, but we needed the water gills first to do that.
Oh, well, we haven't found the water gills.
Uh-huh.
So we only have one option.
Where did we say that? But
They
it
said
said the water
it's
gills
somewhere
were
by the ocean.
far to the northwest.
Yeah.
We never got to it.
Well,
so.
we went north instead of west first.
Knowing that and knowing all of this, if we started over,
Yeah.
we might immediately make a beeline for northwest to get the water gills and then circle back to this in a subsequent game.
Which definitely does have that Seventh Continent vibe. It also has a little bit of Kira and I were lucky enough to get to play Sleeping Gods earlier, and this has that same kind of feel. Like once you go someplace and you realize, oh, we needed X item, you can go get X item first.
So, Julie, I could really use your 2 feet because I have a card that lets me add another one so that we can get the heck out of here.
Well, we need items to do either one of those things, don't we?
The
Or
first
no?
one we just need 3 feet.
I can give you that, but I'm also going to have to because I am required to spend
Wait.
a fist, but I had to do it. So
Yeah, 'cause we don't
Whose
have
turn
any
is
other
it
feet.
right now?
Mine.
If you end your turn and I go, can I use my ability to add a foot? Or can we not do that mid-combat?
No matter what, this is going to take
I understand
at
what you're
least 2
trying
cards.
to do, but
Yeah, I could use 1 foot. I didn't know if somebody else had a foot and a punch that were together.
no. So the fist for me is because I have this.
Oh,
status effect.
gotcha. Oh, gotcha.
So we can leave.
So we can leave, and I was going to have to spend that
Mhm.
at some point.
No,
regardless.
that makes sense.
So that happens, and then I can get rid of
So we ran away.
that. So we successfully ran away. Now, this one was an either or. So we picked this, and it's unlocked now. But
But we can't do number 1 again? Next time we
number
come?
one again.
Oh, boy.
Although let me read to you the resolution of it. I'm getting ahead of myself.
118, page 22.
Page what?
Entering the main hall. Nope.
No, page 22.
22.
119.
118.
118. Or 18?
I said 118,
118.
page 22.
She did. She said the words. I flipped them in my head. You suppress the panicking feeling welling up inside. With careful movement to avoid drawing the shark's attention, you swim back to the safety of the shallows. All characters on this map tile may move freely now. It's unlocked.
Okay.
So that means we can now go through it. Of course, anytime you go through a tile that has that status effect, you still have to do the status
Every
effect.
time. So
Every time.
when we come back here, we have to deal with that again.
Correct.
All right.
So,
Are we nearing something
Yeah.
right now?
Northwest was the...
Right?
Kelpies.
So maybe we should go 77?
Go west?
Go
Because
west.
that was my last action, right? So it's now
Yeah,
Ryan.
let's go west. 77?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that. I was super close. 77.
Okay.
Well, I guess we should have gone around and come back to this one, but...
Well, but we could have had an owie.
We could have had an owie. That's
Yes.
correct.
But we don't. The lake to the east becomes a large river. It turns north and empties into the sea. While on the south side you see a jet black horse swimming among the reeds by a swamp. The beautiful horse has long flowing mane that is dripping water. It gives you a curious look before emitting a soft nicker and lowering its head to get pet. Do you pet the horse or keep away, or do we keep moving
I
on?
pet the horse.
Seriously?
Yeah, I wanted to turn me
We're in
into
a
a fish.
weird world where things are bad.
The horse came up asking to be
One
pet.
fist.
I've
Okay,
got
one
it.
fist, do it.
Let's do it. I'm going to pet the horse.
He's gonna pet the
What's the worst thing that could happen is we could lose and have to restart? I mean, that's going to happen at some point. That's the worst thing that could happen.
That's the worst thing that could happen. The horse seems tame and you softly pat its head. And then you suddenly feel something odd about it. But realize your hand is glued to its body. It bolts towards the water and drags you along with it. At the last moment, you painfully wrench your hand free. Leaping into the water, the stallion transforms into something more aquatic. The monstrous sight of it lingers in your mind as it swims away. Draw and attach a Bane card to your character.
No, I wanted it to give me gills. All right, I've got Dread.
He's
the
a
same
little
one you
obsessed
had.
with gills.
And Madness triggers, so I'm going to have to discard one of these cards at random. I've got one card left. If I get another Dread, that's it.
Yep.
Oh my.
Well, you know what? It asked to be pet, okay?
It did, and
Well,
you didn't have to. You didn't have to accommodate it.
But now I know. Next time
the
we come
nice
here,
lady over here told you.
she said that
She did tell us.
to be aware of them.
Yeah.
Everybody
aware of it.
also.
You were
in the
aware.
comments.
Look, it could have gone either way. If I didn't pet it, it could have been angry and attacked me, okay? It could have been like, why? How dare you not honor me with pets, okay? It's a fairy creature. Don't try to express logic. I don't know what they're thinking.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Well,
Ryan. Well, it's still your turn. I'm not
What
sure
are
we
we
trust you
doing
to
now?
make any more decisions.
Let's go
What do we
north.
do? Let's go north.
Okay, north
78.
is 78.
We're all going together.
78. Because I'm looking for the people that can... They said northwest, so I don't know how far northwest it is
This
from
is
there.
78. It's just a normal card. Nothing bad is happening here.
Nothing
Yet.
to see here. 78. It does have a lock to the east, but not to the other sides. So we could either backtrack or move west. But
Lock here.
Yeah.
it is. There's no way to get north, and there is a way to unlock for the east. But
Well, we could go west. All right.
no, we can't go west. Oh, we can
No,
go
we
west.
could go
Yes.
west. What is the
Just not
tile?
north.
Waves crash against the northern cliffside as you make your way to a cavern entrance. It is barred by a gigantic, heavy gate. So examining the gate costs 1 eyeball. Opening the gate is 1 fist, but it requires the skeleton key and the water gills. Haven't
We
found
still
the
have
water
not
gills
found
yet.
the water gills yet.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we went too far north.
It said northwest.
It did say northwest. I just didn't know how far northwest.
She said pretty far northwest.
Yeah.
I remember her saying it was a ways away.
She said it was a ways away northwest. I just
So-
don't know how big this map could be. There are a lot
Well, there are
of
121
tiles, so-
and then some alternate tiles. So 121 is an 11 by 11.
If it is at an 11 by 11 grid, I don't know if
So-
the map
Ish.
ish.
We only have 1 eyeball among the 3 of us.
I can't play any card or I lose.
We're like the Fates. From
What's
Clash
that?
of the Titans.
Yes! Yes! Exactly.
We have
One
one
eyeball
eyeball
to
among
share.
us.
One eyeball among us.
If I play
Solid.
this, I get to draw another ability card, but it doesn't matter because it's a puzzle unless you could turn it into something else.
And if you play... You don't have to discard a fist too to play anything.
Oh, that's true.
So Ryan's locked. So either we help you or you move us.
Well, that's
Somewhere
I'm
else.
done, right?
That was
I
all
moved,
3 of yours?
touched the horse, then moved again.
Oh,
He
yeah.
moved to touch the horse. Moved again
So
this
Julie,
time.
it's you. What do
I
you want
would
to do here?
I wanted to ride the horse, okay?
Oh my god.
If you give me something in a game, I'm not going to not do it.
This feels like
Shoot.
so on point.
All right.
I want to know everything.
We're gonna go west.
Okay.
117.
117. Right.
117. We're going west.
Oh, that's 117.
Well, swimming by large rocks jutting out of the water, you notice a shadow beneath the waves. Diving below, you see a shipwreck at the bottom of the sea. To explore the shipwreck, we would need a bunch of stuff, but we'd also need water gills. So
We still have not found the water
I am
gills.
on the mission for water gills at this point.
Me too. I was saying that from the beginning, and you guys all laughed at me.
So, do we want? So we are now. There's no way west, and it looks like it's pretty much ocean. So north or south? Are we going along north or south to try to find these water gills?
It seems like north.
North.
Well, she said
118.
very far to the northwest, and
Yeah,
I don't
so-
think 2 spaces away would have been
118?
very far.
118.
Ryan?
118. Nope, not quite. Sorry. Well, these are really slippery. New cards, everybody.
Print
Oh
play
my-
games. Doesn't have that. They do a really good job.
They do,
yeah,
but all
right.
new cards are always super slippery.
But usually we have a little bit more of a
Right.
finish to our actual.
And that's okay, because I've got them sorted out.
All right. Oh, I should show it. So we can either continue to go north or go south.
Well, something might happen while we're here too.
As you near the stone walls of a secluded cove, a melodic voice can be heard singing from within. It is a whimsical tune, but the entrancing music begins to draw you into the water. You quickly cover your ears to muffle the noise before you decide what to do next.
Sirens.
You got it. So we can't do this one because we don't have water gills.
Man, did we
Manon's harp.
Oh,
one or the other. We don't have either of those. So we have managed to skip around every major
important thing.
We found some cool things.
I don't know how we did that. We just made a beeline northwest, though.
I mean, you did this.
Yes, I didn't do
Yeah.
that.
You kind of.
We went northwest.
It's fine.
Oh, we're moving the...
I'm trying to make sure they can see you.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, because we're like at
I
the
made
top.
the logo too big.
Well, let's go south then. Let's just go back south. We must have missed the ferries.
Okay.
So that's all 3 of your actions if we do that.
Well, I can only go back down one step to 117 and then stop, and then it's your turn. And then you could take us on to 116.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. So we all go here, and then I'm going to go to 116.
116.
Or we're all going to go to 116.
We're all going to... I'm going to go. So far, we haven't split up. Now, is there a benefit at all to splitting up, like to cover more ground, do you think?
I think that the game typically rewards not splitting the party.
Gotcha.
But there are occasions where it actually is beneficial to do so, especially if you've gotten you realize that you have a specific goal in mind.
And you're trying to find it.
And you're trying to find it.
Yeah.
But splitting the party is dangerous because, as you've seen, if you don't have what you need on a tile,
then you're in trouble.
And nobody... Right.
So I showed everybody the tile-ish, because it's a little green, so some of it was disappearing, but there's something in the water.
There is. You discover a placid lagoon encircled by a sandbar and a wall of colorful reef and rocks to the north. At the center of the lagoon is a magnificent statue with the head and trident visible just above the surface of the azure water. Gain the blessing of the sea, takes 2 puzzle pieces, and an eyeball.
Well, I can't contribute or else I have to pay a fist.
I have 2 puzzles.
Yes, you can.
You have an eyeball.
But won't I have to also pay a fist, or is that only when it's my turn?
Oh, you do have to.
So you and I can handle it.
Yep.
Eyeball and a fist.
I need a rest.
I do. Okay. So we're going to do that, and we read page 1 on page 22, number 120.
D&D players know that you never split the party.
Never split the party. Well, except that they always do.
Yeah,
we always do.
It does happen.
Let's be honest. You swim into the lagoon and carefully examine the statue. Faded inscriptions on the trident commemorate an old god of the sea by his son Menanon. Diving beneath the surface, you find a twisted conch shell held within the left hand and blow on it. The roar of a wave fills your ears, and you discover that you can now swim like a fish and breathe underwater. Gain water gills from the boon day.
So we have to. Is it numbered, or we just search for it?
It is numbered, and then I shuffled them by accident. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I was on a roll on turn setup.
Look at this. We're Kevin Costner now. Somebody said we had to find Kevin Costner and get his powers. We've done that.
I do think... What time are we at?
We're about a quarter.
Yeah, I think we're at a good stopping point because it's very unlikely we would be able to get back to the castle and do stuff with the amount. We'd have to go searching for a rest spot.
I have 1 card left.
But
so
it's a good stopping point.
It's something where you could choose to be like, hey, are we stopping here and trying to reset? Or are we going to try to push through and get back to the castle with the water gills and push our luck? But for purposes of this, it's a really good place to see. That's how.
Right. Loopy says, now you need the game and you'll find out what happens next.
Right.
We've given you some help. Get the water gills. Now I imagine, I imagine that getting the water gills and getting all the things for this castle, this is just like one, I don't even want to call it a quest, but like one path through this game. And I imagine that there are a lot of these.
And we kind of went through the periphery of other quests. Mm-hmm. Which was the fun part. And water gills, you could see, were a couple different places where they were useful. That doesn't necessarily mean they were all for the same way out.
That's true. They just are very useful to have water gills if you're going
Right,
to
if
the
you're
water.
in a water area, but the things that you got in each of those might be beneficial for different things as well. So that's the whole point
Yeah.
of why when you say replayability, that's why, because you can be like, well, now I know where the water gill guy is, cool. But what can I do with that information to move forward is the next piece.
Right, because there's no way you're beating this in one go without die. I mean, you're going to die. It's like any kind of like roguelike. I mean, you're going to die, you're going to reset, but you have the information. Now, maybe this is a spoiler, but there's no items that carry over between plays, are there?
No.
Okay. I wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Super secret artifacts, things like that.
No. Gordon does this really fun thing, however, where you do get these story moments.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to say absolutely no, because some of these plot things will give a light legacy piece.
Oh, interesting.
So if you resolve a major plot point, you may have a legacy piece to carry over.
Interesting. That's kind of cool. And as far as Loopy's question, is there a camping mechanism? There are rest spots. We just didn't find one. Is that right there where there was a rest spot right by us? Well, we didn't know. You don't really...
Right. There are multiple rest points, and think of them almost like save points in a game, but really they're not, because what they're doing is they're allowing you to rest and re-drop your hand. But then if we had done that, we would have had to move the clock.
Oh, every time you rest, you move the clock?
And of course the nightmare, we actually didn't. He wasn't a big major factor in this game.
No, he wasn't.
He can be, because he could have, like, the next time he would have moved 2, and then after that he would have moved
Yeah, I was
3.
waiting for the nightmare to show up.
Right.
To be honest.
We avoided a lot of those symbols and got to do a lot of exploring, but didn't really get to.
Also, I mean, it's a good taste of what the game is like. I mean, what it has to offer. We got to do some combat, we got to do some exploration, make some decisions, and really that was a very small percentage of what's actually in the game. I mean, we didn't even uncover 10% of the tiles alone, let alone other decisions. So very cool.
Thanks.
Thanks for showing this to us today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And don't forget to... Chat's been active, so if you haven't made a comment, do so now.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you comment in the description for your chance to win. And we will be back next week.
That's right.
With Freedom 5 from Arcane Wonders. And we'll be joined by another special guest.
Oh, you'll have to stay tuned and find out who it is.
Yeah.
All right.
I wonder who that could be.
I wonder. I have no idea.
It's not me.
Yeah, Julie's coming back.
Me.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining us today.
It was my pleasure.
And we will see you all next time.
Bye.